Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. In today's video I'm excited to share with you one of my favorite little imitative buggy Elk Hair Caddis patterns. For this tie I'm going to be using Semperfli's Nano Silk in 30 denier. They're micro metal in antique gold, as well as some dry fly poly yarn in mottled dark brown. I love this Nature Spirit elk hair for this one. As well, they make some beautiful pheasant tails, which I'll use the fibers for the legs. I'll show you a cool little trick to get those knotted. For all my dry fly patterns, I love these Togens dry fly barbless hooks. This is a size 12. They have a tiny little upturn on the hook point, and it is needle sharp, so they do have some really good sticking power, as well as they are very durable and they're barbless. So in all of our streams in BC, it is a requirement to fish a single barbless hook. And for these patterns, I love adding a little pair of monofilament eyes. And what I'll do is I'll take some trilene monofilament in green color and I'll singe the ends of those, and they ball up really nice into a set of eyes. The outside has kind of a amber glow to it, and then it transitions to a nice green. So super imitative. If you want to have some artistic fun with these patterns, you can add a set of those in. It's not too difficult. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap that Semperfli dry fly poly yarn up the body. Super buoyant stuff. They also make a beautiful assortment of dirty bug yarns, and those are for any wet nymphs. This dry fly poly yarn is super buoyant, so it's going to keep this right in that surface film. Okay, and this is where we get super artistic with some knotted pheasant tail legs. You're going to want to show your friends this one. So start out by getting a latch hook. They're used for carpeting or upholstery. You're going to want to find the smallest one that you can, and then grab a couple of pheasant tail fibers. And then you'll start by making a overhand turn like you would for an overhand knot, and just pinch that off where it overlaps. Get that into the latch hook with the latch door open, and then as you move it there, I'm moving the tips through that hook point, closing the latch, slide it off the end, and it'll knot those legs for you. You can put in a couple of knots in these things if you want, make them super buggy. I love these things. They've really changed my imitative dry fly patterns, my surface patterns. They create such a buggy silhouette on the surface of the water, so I highly encourage you trying this one out. There's a few companies that still make these knotted legs if you can find them, but a fun little hack to try. Huge thank you to Barry Ord Clark, master fly tire with all things feather and fur. Great little technique there, Barry. Thank you. And here I've added about 3 of those knotted pheasant tail legs per side, and then go ahead and cut off about a pencil width of this elk hair. Brush the under fur out of there while holding onto the tips, and that's going to make for a nice and even stacked bunch of elk hair. And with measuring this on top of the hook, you want just a little bit longer than the actual hook shank itself, because that's going to stand up at about a 45 degree and create a nice silhouette on top of the water. As you're wrapping your thread in, don't pull on it too tight initially. Get a couple of securing wraps in there, then you can pull on it. And I like to weave my thread through the fibers as I pull them back, and that'll just help with anchoring that in. It's not going to shift around the fly, and it'll add in some durability as well. So another cool little tip and trick for you. And you'll notice I've left this dry fly poly yarn a little bit longer. I like to go ahead and wrap that right around where I've tied that elk hair in, and it hides your thread wraps, gives you a little bit more buoyancy off the head. And then I'll do a series of half hitch knots just to secure that behind the hook eye, and then we're going to go ahead and trim this up, get that strand of dry fly poly yarn out of there, and then at about a 45 degree, you'll trim those butt sections of the elk hair off there. You can follow the orientation of the downturn hook eye in these patterns, and that helps kind of get you the right angle. And then I clean it up with a little bit of a lighter. Be very careful with that not to singe any of those half hitch knots. And there you guys have it. A super buggy, very imitative, menacing looking elk hair caddis. I love these patterns. I highly encourage you to try this one out. I want to thank you so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the water.